going on, y'all? The reviewer is here, and I'm back to give y'all this album review of Outside, called Area 67. Y'all should know who Outside is if y'all check out the last review I did of theirs called Domestic Violence, which is their third album. Now this right here is the second album, and the first album was called Ain't No Tamin, which came out in '99. This one right here came out in 2002. Alright, and this is the real deal. Y'all know how I do. And shout out to Fingerroll himself for hooking me up with this album, because I told him that I'm a sucker for physical copies. But anyway, if you heard my last review of Domestic Violence, you should know that this is Fingerroll and this is C-Saw. C-Saw is probably one of my personal favorite female rappers out there. And that means a lot for me saying that. The producer of this album was the one and only Fingerroll, and the features, I'll list them off as I say each track. Alright, so let's go with it. The first track is just an intro, and they just talking and stuff. Area 67. This features T Low of 1st Battalion, which I'm trying to find that album, but it's hard to find too. But anyway, this track right here is bumping, man. This is the name of the song, Area 67. That's the actual name of the track. That song goes hard. That beat goes hard like a mug. And T Low, he comes through with a nice verse. Fingerroll and C-Saw come through with some hard ass verses. I mean, that beat is bumping out the frame. I love the bass line of it and everything. And it's kind of like slow tempo a little bit. The next one is called What Is He and She. This features Felicia, who does the vocals on here. This is kind of an up-tempo song. This song I didn't like at first, but then it grew on to me later. It's kind of a weird hook. If you hear if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean when I say that. They all come through with some dope verses. C-Saw, Fingerroll. I like that third verse from Fingerroll, and he does. The next track is, I'm gonna go down to Thirsty, which is another dope ass track from Outside. The beat almost kind of sound like a reggae track, but it's dark though. It's like a dark sounding beat. And they all come through with some dope ass flows. I mean, you have no choice but to bop your head to it, man, like as it goes on. And it's a nice hook too. The next one is called Downfall. This features Father Time of 1st Battalion. And I believe that's the first one who raps on there. This is it almost sounds like an East Coast track. He almost sounds like Keith Murray a little bit, almost. But he comes through with a dope verse on there. The hook is really nice. Fingerroll and C-Saw come through with some dope ass flows as usual. I don't think I really heard them spit a weak verse at all, honestly. But the hook is nice as well. Then Pissed Off, that's the next name of the track. This is a slower tempo song, and this track they're pretty much talking about people pissed them off, and Fingerroll raps first, and then C-Saw interrupts and say, hey, I'm pissed off too. I'm ready to spit too. And then she goes off and starts flowing too. Really nice track from these guys. Then I'm gonna go down to Heated. This features Mike Lott, Rome, Pug, I believe. And this track goes hard. It's like a nice laid back beat. I believe it's Mike Lott. He come through with a dope ass flow, man, on here. And y'all know Fingerroll and C-Saw does their thing. Don't need to explain that. This is probably one of my personal favorites off of the album. Real talk, it's really dope. Then I'm gonna go down to War Part 2. This features Fino of the Gambino family, man. I want to cop that Gambino family album called Ghetto Organized. I'm trying to find it, but it's getting harder and harder to find. But it also features Hydrotherapy. Now this track is blazing, yo. This is another blazing ass track from Outside. Pheno comes through with a dope ass verse. He even shout out No Limit Soldiers on there. And then Hydrotherapy comes through with a dope verse. And Fingerroll does well. And then C-Saw comes through with one of the hardest verses that I ever heard from her, man. Like, she goes off. And then the beat is really nice, by the way. Like, I played this song a couple times and then I played it again. Like, that's how hard this track is. Honestly, if you don't like this song, I don't know what to tell you. Then the next one is Don't Sleep. This features D-Fly, Lil B, and Tragic. Now it's not the Lil B y'all thinking about. It's not him. This is another Lil B. This track goes hard, man. This is a slow tempo song as well. Fingerroll and C-Saw does some dope flows on there. Lil B, I believe, is it him or is it Tragic? One of them. But they come through with a hard ass verse. And then D-Fly comes through with a cool laid back verse. I mean, it's dope. Then No Matter, this features Pimp of Third Degree. This is a really nice track as well. Pimp comes through with a nice verse. Fingerroll and C-Saw, y'all already know, they come through with some nice flows. And the beat is pretty solid. And then the bonus cut, this is Lil B. I guess he was coming out with an album called 10 Toes Down. Is it out? I'm not too sure if it's out for sure. But this track goes hard as well. Lil B comes through with the lyrical style that he comes through with. And it's a really nice beat, man. It's a blazing cut, actually. And again, if that album is out, I need to find it because I'm really curious to hear how dope that album could be. And then that's it. That's all the songs that I review for this album. Now, to rate this, I had to give this a couple of listens, probably about 3 at best, to give my take of this album. Out of a 10, I would give this a 8.5 to a 9, 8.75. Now, I will admit this. You know, y'all, if y'all heard the album Ain't No Tamin', you know that's a classic ass album. I don't think they can ever touch that album, and you know that's understandable. But this album is just as good. You know what I'm saying? The productions on here is pretty good. Fingerroll does a nice job with the productions. I like the fact he has features from, you know, with down south artists. You know, Pheno from Gambino family. And the production is very versatile. C-Saw comes through with some dope ass flows. I mean, they haven't changed up a bit. You know what I'm saying? So I say if you're a Midwest fan, I would highly recommend to peep this album out. I'm not sure if this is even on the streams or not. I know Ain't No Tamin' is on iTunes and Amazon and stuff like that. So I would peep Ain't No Tamin' out first. And if you really dig the album, which I'm sure you will, I mean, it's a classic album, then you would appreciate Area 67. I heard that this album is getting harder and harder to find. Good luck trying to find the actual CD nowadays, because y'all know compact disc is getting really hard. So, but that's it. Shout out to Outside for coming out with a dope album. Shout out to Fingerroll and C-Saw. Hope things going well with them. And shout out to all the features. Alright. Much love to the real folks. And I'll be on here back with another review. Alright. Peace out, guys.